Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the two children of Henry Kissinger, David and Elizabeth. And trust me, their lives are not what you'd expect. We're going to dive deep into their journeys, their careers, their choices to stay under the radar, and how they lived in the giant shadow of their legendary father, without getting lost in it. Growing up as a Kissinger wasn't exactly a walk in the park. While most kids were worrying about homework and baseball practice, David and Elizabeth were growing up with Secret Service agents outside their homes and newspapers printing their father's every move. David Kissinger was born in 1961, smack in the middle of Henry Kissinger's meteoric rise. His childhood split between Washington, D.C. and New York City, places where people didn't just know your name, they knew your family's secrets. Meanwhile, Elizabeth Kissinger, David's big sister by 2 years, was born in Boston in 1959. As the older child, she felt the ground shift first when her dad went from Harvard professor to the man whispering into the ears of presidents. The big family fracture happened in 1964 when Henry and his first wife, Anne Fleischer, got divorced. Elizabeth was 5. David was barely 3. The kids stayed mostly with their mom, while their dad rocketed off into history books. But here's the crazy part. Despite having the world's most famous diplomat as their father, both David and Elizabeth decided to live way outside the political circus. Number 2, David Kissinger. After finishing up at Concord Academy in Massachusetts in 1979, the same Concord Academy known for producing Ivy League rocket ships, David didn't immediately chase fame. Instead, he took a quieter route. He went to college, details are scarce, and even earned a law degree. For a short time, he actually practiced law. Imagine that, the son of Henry Kissinger doing regular lawyer stuff. But David didn't stick around the courtroom for long. He pulled the ultimate career swerve and jumped into journalism. He wrote for Rolling Stone and Variety, 2 magazines about as far from politics as you can get. By 1992, he made another leap, this time into TV development. Walt Disney Television picked him up as Vice President of Development. His job? Dream up the next big sitcom during the biggest TV boom of the 90s. Talk about a pivot. And he crushed it. Over the next few years, David moved from Disney to Universal Television, climbing higher and higher, eventually running Universal's TV production arm. He helped greenlight shows that filled American living rooms. Then came 2004, NBC and Universal merged. David Kissinger and Angela Bromstad were named co-presidents of the brand new NBC Universal Television studio. It was a giant job, managing monster hits like Will and Grace and the Law and Order empire. But a year later, David made another gutsy move. He walked away from NBC Universal's skyscraper offices and joined Conan O'Brien's company, Conoco, as president. Since 2005, David's been the guy behind the scenes producing Late Night with Conan O'Brien, The Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien, Conan on TBS, and hilarious cult hits like Andy Barker, P.I., Eagle Heart, and Final Space. Not flashy, not political, just building a powerhouse career in comedy. When Conan jumped to TBS after that late-night drama with Jay Leno in 2010, David was right there, helping steer the ship. When Conan O'Brien Must Go launched in 2024 on Max, David was still at the helm. You'd think he'd be plastered all over tabloids. But no, David Kissinger kept it classy and quiet. Barely a public word about his personal life. No scandals, no tell-all memoirs. Just work. Number 1, Elizabeth Kissinger. While David was building empires in Hollywood, Elizabeth Kissinger was carving out a totally different life. Born March 27, 1959, Elizabeth grew up with the same last name, the same pressures. But she took a different road. Instead of politics or fame, Elizabeth chose medicine. According to sources close to the Kissinger family, she went to medical school and became a practicing physician in the Boston-Cambridge area. Now, here's where it gets really fascinating. Despite being the daughter of one of the most photographed, scrutinized, and controversial figures of the 20th century, Elizabeth stayed almost completely invisible to the public eye. No public interviews, no TV appearances, no big speeches. She married a man named Henry Vandermark, yeah, another Henry, and took his last name. As Elizabeth Vandermark, she built a private life in Cambridge, Massachusetts. The only times her name really surfaces are in family obituaries and the occasional rare mention in biographies about her father. She could have cashed in on the Kissinger name 100 different ways. She didn't. She chose service, medicine, healing people. No memoirs, no political battles, no drama. Just two very different, very deliberate lives, built in the long shadow of history.